The medical bay of the Galactic Harmony hummed with sterile efficiency as three Xylarian exchange students stood frozen in horror, their iridescent scales shifting through increasingly alarmed shades of purple. "Wait, you're going to insert that inside us?" Zirath clutched her datapad to her chest, her four eyes widening at the device Dr. Sarah Chen held up with casual professionalism. "It's just a standard nanite injection," Sarah explained, her patience well practiced from months of working with alien species. "Completely routine for human medical protocols." The tallest of the three Xylarians, Morlin, took a trembling step backward. "But those are machines. Autonomous machines. That will be inside our bodies." Sarah suppressed a smile. This wasn't the first time alien medical students had reacted with shock to human biotechnology. The Xylarians, despite their advanced civilization, practiced exclusively external medicine. The very concept of introducing foreign objects into a living body struck them as barbaric. "I understand your concern," Sarah said gently, setting down the injection gun. "But these nanites are how we've achieved a 99.7% success rate in treating cellular degradation. They'll repair the radiation damage you sustained during the solar flare incident yesterday." The third student, Kelsara, made a whistling sound of distress. "Among my people, the body's sanctity is absolute. We would rather die than allow invasion by artificial constructs." "I respect that," Sarah nodded. "But without treatment, the radiation damage will cause your cells to deteriorate within 72 hours. The nanites will work for approximately 6 hours, repair all damage at the molecular level, and then safely dissolve into harmless compounds your bodies will naturally expel." Ziraeth's scales flickered between purple and a sickly green. "How long have humans been practicing this? This internal manipulation? Medical nanites? About 40 years. But we've been doing invasive procedures for thousands of years." Sarah pulled up a holographic display. "Surgery, implants, prosthetics, pacemakers. We've always believed that survival trumps squeamishness." The three aliens exchanged looks of profound disbelief. "Your species willingly cuts into itself?" Morlin whispered. "When necessary, yes. We remove diseased organs, replace failing hearts, insert devices to regulate brain chemistry." Sarah watched their scales turn an even deeper shade of alarmed purple. "I had my appendix removed when I was 16. Unnecessary organ. Developed an infection, would have killed me otherwise." "You allowed another being to remove part of your body while you were still alive?" Kelsara looked faint. "Well, I was unconscious for it," Sarah said with a slight grin. "But yes, that's fairly routine where I'm from." The Xylarians huddled together, communicating in rapid clicks and whistles. Sarah had seen this before with other species. The moment they truly understood the lengths humans would go to preserve life, the invasive procedures they'd endure, the foreign substances they'd introduce into their own bodies without hesitation. Finally, Zirath turned back, her scales settling into a resigned shade of blue. "Dr. Chen, I must ask why. Why does your species have such disregard for the natural sanctity of the body?" Sarah considered the question carefully. "It's not disregard. It's the opposite, actually. We value life so intensely that we'll do anything to preserve it. We'll cut ourselves open, poison ourselves with chemotherapy to kill cancer, replace our own organs with mechanical parts or organs from deceased donors. We've survived as a species because we refuse to accept death gracefully." She gestured to the nanite injector. "These tiny machines represent thousands of years of humans refusing to let nature take its course. We looked at disease, at injury, at death itself and said, no, we can do better. And we did." Morallin's scales shifted to a thoughtful amber. "This explains much about humanity's reputation in the galaxy." "What reputation is that?" Sarah asked. "That humans are terrifyingly difficult to kill," Kelsara said quietly. "We thought it was metaphorical. Now I understand. You've spent your entire evolutionary history practicing medicine on yourselves that would horrify any other species." "Pretty much," Sarah agreed cheerfully. Another long moment of silence passed. Then Ziraeth stepped forward, extending her arm with visible trembling. I wish to live. Please administer your nanites, Dr. Chen." Within minutes, all three had been treated. Sarah monitored their vital signs as the nanites went to work, watching the cellular regeneration begin almost immediately. "I can feel them," Ziraeth whispered, her scales shifting through colors Sarah had never seen before. "Tiny machines moving through my bloodstream repairing damage. It's extraordinary. How do you do it? Morlin asked. How do you overcome the instinctive revulsion at such invasion? Sarah thought about her appendectomy scar, about her grandmother's pacemaker, about her colleague whose daughter had leukemia and underwent months of chemotherapy. Because the alternative is unacceptable. Fear of medical procedures seems trivial compared to fear of losing someone you love, or losing yourself. 6 hours later, the 3 Xylarians were completely healed, their cellular structure restored to pre-radiation levels. As Sarah prepared their discharge paperwork, Kelzara approached her with an unusual expression, scales displaying a pattern Sarah's xenobiology training identified as deep respect. Dr. Chen, I have a request. When I return to Xylaria, I wish to bring information about human medical techniques. My people need to understand that our fear has limited our ability to preserve life. You want to introduce invasive medicine to your homeworld? Sarah asked, surprised. I want to introduce the concept that sometimes, to save a life, we must be willing to be uncomfortable, to be invaded, to accept that foreign elements within us might be necessary. Kelzara's scales shimmered with determination. Humans understood this thousands of years ago. Perhaps it's time my people learned. Sarah smiled and handed her a data chip. Everything you need to know about human medical history. Fair warning, some of our early procedures were crude. I imagine drilling holes in skulls to release evil spirits was not your finest moment. Zirath asked dryly. We got better, Sarah laughed. That's the thing about humanity. We never stop trying to improve, even if it means sticking needles, nanites, or entire mechanical organs into ourselves. As the 3 Xylarians left the medical bay, scales now displaying healthy patterns of rainbow iridescence, Sarah overheard their conversation. Wait until the others hear about heart transplants, or brain surgery while the patient is awake. By the eternal cosmos, humans are absolutely mad. Sarah grinned. Just another day introducing the galaxy to humanity's relentless, invasive, utterly unstoppable will to survive.